Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jamie.
I'm Justina.
And this is Just So You Know. Today we are here with our dear friend, Mitrani. She is a physician scientist. She excels in so many different fields. And today we're going to be talking about women in research. We're going to be talking about your stem cell research and also what it's like incorporating veganism and plant-based and how we look at some of the horrible things that happen in animal testing and what you do when you have these values of not wanting to hurt others. So thank you for being here.
No, thank you so much for having me. You girls are my dream.
Aww.
So being here is just another pinnacle of my career.
Yeah, I mean, well, you are just like a boss. Like, we're like, what's your bio? And she's like, PhD, LMNOP, QRSTUZ. I'm like, well, dang. I didn't want to be a veterinarian because I had to do so much schooling. And this girl is still in school, getting more degrees, doing all the hard work behind the scenes. Because when we think about animal activism, we see it in the front. We don't really learn about what's happening behind the scenes. So we have someone who does those things, who has the knowledge about making our movement move forward in a field that's like dominated by men and definitely does not consider what happens to these animals in order for us to progress as humans.
Yeah, but I'm going to give it pros to you girls because you are in the front lines of animal activism and everything that you do with so much purpose. I'm looking and I always see, damn, how can I do something else? But you're right. We all have our own specialties and we're all so needed in different fields and our voice is so valuable. So even from the area that I am, yes, as a doctor, a physician scientist, I've done so much research, but my ethics has been able to conduct less animal testing because I didn't want to do that.
So take us back. When did you go vegan? And was it before you started going into science or was it after?
Yeah, so I went vegan when I was 13.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this April is going to be 33 years. Please don't do the math. I love you.
So you were like smart. You were smart in every way.
So I was raised vegetarian and a vegetarian that different terms back then, right? It's like 40 years ago when the term didn't even exist. But my father's a physician and he always ensured that nutrition was the first change his patients went through. So we grew in a house that we didn't have milk, cheese, no eggs, and we ate like white meats. But at 13, I read an article about methane and global warming. At 13, this is like, I'm not going to say it's in the 80s, but early 90s, right? And I was like, even though I don't eat beef or pork ever in my life, it's still chicken agriculture or turkey agriculture is still contributing to the methane production. And I made that decision at 13. I said, I don't want to contribute into this. I want to save the world. What the hell? I'm a hypocrite for doing this. And throughout my life, I've learned how much levels of I'm a hypocrite I am, even though I am a vegan because of my ethics. Life and the world is designated in a way that it is not for vegans. It's not meant to cover health as a physician, right? I do care about my humans and their health.
Right.
I went vegan for the environment, right? And then I got touched about the animals. And once that touched, that was, you can't unsee it.
Right. Well, I'm proud of you. That's incredible. At such a young age to like make that decision based off of the environment with methane. That's insane that you were like, wait, what's going on? Like, I would think that at a young age, children make the connection with the animals first, but you took it to a whole other level. I'm like, what?
And it's like, you're right. We are vegans living in a non-vegan world. So finding that balance of like, what are we okay with? We can't be perfect.
Right.
And especially if you're trying to move the needle in a field where animals are not put first.
Right.
In fact, they're tested on.
Right. Yeah. So what is it like as a woman and a vegan woman in the medical field? How do you navigate that? What are some challenges you've gone through or some accomplishments you've achieved as a vegan female?
Yeah, I think my whole life has been, I am very proud of who I am. I come from a family that has always pushed me to be myself, to love who I am, to follow my north and follow my truth. And I'm very loud about what I feel is
Oh, we
true.
know this. This girl is fully confident in who she is, and that is what we love about her. And I love that you bring that to your work.
Yeah, so as a woman in a field, a male-dominated field, it's really challenging to go through. And as a physician scientist that went into a field that didn't exist, because I did not do pediatrics or cardiology, right? That there's books, there's history, you can go to residency. I decided to take a road that was not invented and invented. And this is what I've done for 20 years. So I'm studying stem cells, exosomes, their secretions, how do cells grow? And I'm a very much of a scientist. I'm a geek and I love to be a geek. I'm a nerd that is so proud to be a nerd. So that's what I bring to the field into my life. It's knowing that science and data does not have personalities. It's just the truth. It is what it is, right?
Right.
So has your ethics and being vegan ever triumphed in your studies and in your work? Like, where did you have to maybe make sacrifices?
Yeah, so I decided to go and conquer the world. And I was studying to make a new drug application with FDA and bring stem cells into a full-blown therapeutic, right?
Wait, explain that a little deeper. Like, what does that mean? Because, like, for me, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I'm like, oh, I know exactly what she's saying. If you can't see me, I'm shaking my head no. But yes.
Like, think about Advil, right?
Okay.
That is a compound that needed to go through FDA approval to then be approved and then be sold.
Okay.
Right? Now, I am in the world of stem cells. So I want to dosify and put them in a bottle just to be sold as a future therapeutic. And FDA says you got to go through phases of investigation to know that this is first safe, so humans don't have any reaction, and then it's effective to what level, right? But in cells, it's a little bit different than just a pharmaceutical compound, right? It's a different world, but still we have really clear rules and we go through those. And those rules tell me that I have to have enough evidence in animals and in the lab to then tell them, hey, here, this is my data, listen to this, and then I'm ready to go test it in humans.
Okay,
Right?
so you have your products or whatever project you're working on has to go through the animal testing route?
All until 2025 that Congress passed a law, December 2025, Congress passed a law and said, it's time to update this.
Oh, wow.
Because all of the story of this new evolution of pharmaceuticals have required animal testing to even present to FDA a new product.
That's crazy, yeah.
So
For medicine, not for makeup.
correct. This is for, so FDA sees the food and drugs, right?
Right.
But in my case, I'm trying to discover a new drug, a new medicine, right? And this is the rules that there are for drug approval, right? And the interesting thing is that 90% of the things that are tested in animals do not get FDA approval. So you went through all of these studies because first you do it in Petri dish, right?
Right.
Everybody understands a little Petri dish, right?
Yes.
From there, they allow to go to small animals. So your rat studies are then put into that animal. Then they used to require you to go to bigger animals. So that's where your monkeys, your pigs come through, your dogs, your horses. So this is, and then from that point, you would jump to human, right? Lately, that shift has been transition. And I am so glad that by the time I came through, I did not need to prove going through all of those animal testings, but we did enough data in the Petri dish. And then we had to have an animal-based model. And this was in rats. We were studying lung injury. And, every single day I ask how my little rats are, because my ethics are so strong, but I also know that if I can make this happen, a lot of humans are going to be impacted. So both ethics are combined, right?
Okay.
You are fighting for both realities and both truths, and both truths are real, right? And now I know that this new act came out and Congress asked FDA, we really have to move the needle, and we're going to have to move the needle through NAMs and through other processes.
Why did they move the needle? Was it ethical? Was it because the studies aren't actually translating to humans?
So both things. Is like
Okay.
now as a scientific community, we know that animals, you test it in animals and it
Doesn't
translate
translate.
to
Yeah.
humans,
Ah.
especially in smaller animals, right? Like rats,
Yeah.
even though we are, there's similar things that can happen, it will never translate to humans. And yes, safety is the most important thing. Yes, but now the beauty about it is that there's other things. Through stem cells, we've been able to understand, for example, organoids. We grow little lungs, little brains, little
crazy.
livers, and test the product in these little organs and see what's happening.
That makes more sense.
There's still limit, but at least they're human cells.
Right.
100%, because I've never understood the animal testing, because it's like, even humans, what affects you is going to be different than what affects me. So like, how could they even make it a regulation to test on animals in order for it to be approved? It's still not really giving that truth that the humans are not going to be affected. Now, have you ever gone through testing where not so good things happen to these animals, and like, how did you deal with that, if so?
Yeah, so all animal testing ends in two scenarios, right? Either you take biopsies of the places that you're studying, or take a piece of it, right? Or
What do you mean, a piece of it? Like a piece of the mouse?
of like so in the mouse, unfortunately, most of to understand what happened on them, they have to be killed. Yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal
How
with
are
that?
they killed?
Correct. I honestly don't know how they kill him.
You don't ask?
I have not asked how they kill the rats, but I'm sure the same happens with the bigger animals, which
Right.
I have not had to deal with. Or you take a piece of, like a biopsy, right? You cut that area, analyze it, and if the rats don't live that long, right? In pigs, for example, they do live longer, and you can't kill them just to, they do.
They do.
And what brings me to, sometimes we are desensitized with the type of animal that we're studying, right?
Right.
And that is something that you girls do so well, to try to bridge that desensitization, right?
Because
Like-
a rat, its life matters just as much as the pig. So like, I'm just curious how you do it. I think we've had that discussion before. I'm like, how the heck are you okay being vegan, especially so young, getting into this field? I know I see a lot of the pros, but specifically with like stem cells and like scientific research, I just like, I don't know how you do it, knowing that it has to be tested on animals in order for your proposition to move forward. Like how like be transparent. How does that work? Do you desensitize yourself? Do you dissociate?
And what are the other scientists thinking? Like, are they judging you for having these values? Are they as sensitive to this as you are?
I don't think, I think only us vegans understand to what level of it actually hurts our soul, our heart. And I was asking how my pups are, right? Nobody else has ever asked this. And yeah, it's like going to as vegans, you're driving a car that has leather seats, right? How do you cope with this? It's kind of in the same level, that question, right? But the good thing is that I knew that it was a smaller study that was needed to prove the fact that I will never be touching those animals again, right? So from that point, we were able to transition directly into humans. So never again do I have to go prove that more animals will be killed under my research, right?
Right.
Nothing that I can do with the ones that were, right? They're still there. A publication came out. It was incredible collaboration with the University of Miami. And yeah, it's that duality of life and us navigating in a non-vegan world, but it's still us pushing to the brighter good, right?
Like, right, because you're infiltrating in a sense, like at least you do care. So if you can make any difference in that space, you can, because you're vetted to be in those rooms. So
in this space, you talk a lot about women and fertility. And I'm curious if you could talk to our audience a little bit about how a plant-based diet affects women.
Yeah. I mean, so I've been so blessed that in the last venture that I explore, I went into fertility to understand fertility. And one of my mentors, Dr. Natalie Crawford, she is an REI, reproductive doctor. She says this, she says, everything that is good for your body is good for your eggs and your sperm.
Makes sense.
Science is so clear when it comes to nutrition and to fertility. The more plant-based you are, the better it is for every single cell of your body. We have trillions of cells.
Tell them, girl.
And people ask me, how do you get this hair so long and your nails so thick and your skin still so bright at your age? And I'm like, I eat all my antioxidants. It's not that difficult. I think we focus on the macros, you know, are we having enough protein and fat and carbs? That carbs are hated, but because complex carbs are so important.
For your brain.
What we are not thinking is the micros, the minerals, all of the vitamins, all the oligo elements. There's so much on the little things that are intricate inside of whole food plant-based that it's just science is there.
Go vegan.
I mean, I don't care what you do. Add more plants to your plate.
Right.
If you want to stay in fertility.
Yeah.
And if you want to stay healthier.
That's so true. People are really quick to, not to say that what you do is not important, but people are so quick to inject, to take a pill, when it could be so much simpler, so much cheaper and healthier if you just change your diet.
Well, the other day I went to this party and I was talking to this woman and she was telling me about how after she had a baby, she started craving red meat. She goes to the point where like I just had to have it. And she's like, and this happened to another friend of mine. And I'm like, all right, well, clearly she wasn't vegan ethically to begin with. So she was just, I guess, plant-based.
Oh, she was vegan before?
She was plant-based. Okay, yeah. And so then she said that she started eating meat again because of her pregnancy. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so as a physician scientist, the data is really clear. You know, one thing is to be vegan. Vegan is a stand on ethics.
Yes. But
another thing is, how do we understand humans' nature, biology in humans? And that's very clear. If you're 80 to 90% plant-based or have a plant-focused diet with a 10% to 15% of any type of meat, you are thriving at the best. And this is the data. It is not what I stand for or my ethical stance, right?
Yeah.
You can be perfectly healthy if you are vegan or vegetarian, or if you have, so the doctors like the term Mediterranean diet. Then they're not compromised on the ethic part. We understand that we are vegan because of much more than that, but health-wise, right? So if you're asking me, what do you think about this lady that wanted to incorporate some meat? I can say, Jamie, if she's still 80 to 90% plant-based.
She's keto, like eating a lot of animals.
But now she went
opposite.
Extreme.
The other
And she's like, I
extreme.
feel so good. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you get a blood test and see what you might need? Like,
Right,
I remember
first.
when I was 12 years old, I went to my pediatrician and my doctor said to me, she goes, what are you eating? Like, how? And I said, oh, I'm vegetarian, you know. And at the time when I was in high school, I would kind of like go on and off of it. And she went off on me and was like, you need your folic acid because if you get pregnant, and I'm like, I'm 12. She's like, your baby will come out without a spine. And then she goes, and she listed like all these things that it scared me as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And so are there things that women that are having babies need to make sure that they get and maybe tie that into a plant-based eating as well?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because when I went to med school and we were going through nutrition, the doctor, our teacher, right, made sure to tell us how deficient a vegetarian diet was because there was no vegan back then, right? And I'm like,
How do they back
excuse
that up?
me, I've been vegetarian or vegan for, like, at that point I was 15 years already vegan. And I'm like, I'm willing to take my blood out right now and compare it to any of my classmates.
Right.
My classmates got the exposure of what true nutrition can do to a human. But if I was not in that classroom, doctors just get trained by this, because we don't get educated by nutrition.
Right.
It's
I was
very
surprised
small.
that you even brought up that you had a nutrition.
It is. We all
sector.
get exposed to a very small portion, but not many hours of it, right? But still, what is needed now? It's really clear. So the Pediatric Association, Obstetric Association, even Fertility Association, we are all very clear on the data. What do we need to thrive better as humans? It's plant central. So these are the things we do. Do we need folic acid? Are you going to need folic acid if you're trying to get pregnant? Hell yes. If you eat A, B, C, D diet.
What is that? How do you get that?
Oh, it's a supplement. Folic acid?
And can you get it from plant foods?
You can, but if you are getting pregnant or you're trying to get pregnant, your OBGYN will ensure that you are having a
Prenatal vitamin?
a prenatal vitamin or a vitamin that is including those. So you ensure, we don't want anybody with spine defects.
Right.
You know, medicine and science has evolved so much that at least we know that, right? As vegans, we're taking vitamin 12. Just take it. It's not a big deal.
You could take a vegan supplement.
It's
I
not
have
a big
question
deal.
with that specifically because if people use the excuse to eat animals to get that folic acid, then what in the plant-based diet that has that supplement besides an actual supplement?
Yeah, so all the leafy greens have that, but you still, if you go to an OBGYN and you are trying to get pregnant, they will put you in a folic acid. Doesn't
Yeah, no
matter
matter
which
if
your
you're vegan or
diet,
not. Yeah.
you're vegan or not. No,
Exactly.
Like we know, and right now we know D3, vitamin D3 is something that we are all put in for so many reasons, right? Like omegas, like there's so many smaller nutrients that we know that all the population is just low on. Right. And everybody's taking it.
Exactly.
But when you mentioned you're a vegan, oh my God.
They're so concerned about all that stuff.
People be called nutritionists and like, it's like, what happened?
The nutritionist police. Do you have any specific stories, whether that be about nutrition or in the specific STEM field where you had pushback revolving your ethics with another colleague? Like, has that ever happened, like, specifically?
She's like, which time?
Yeah,
right. Well, I want to know specifically and on what topic, on like what topic stands out to you specifically that you were like, what the heck?
All day, every day. I feel now with social media, even MDs in the space that are being paid for an agenda, it's just disgusting. Like
that paid for an agenda.
Yes. And now we know that they're being paid for it because the data and the science is really clear.
Who's paying them?
They're the lobbying.
The meat, dairy, and egg industries are paying the doctors to say...
it was a huge campaign after the consensus of so many scientists that were like completely scientists, right? From all over the world. The the manuscript came out, and the manuscript was really clear on we all need to be more plant-centered, not only for our nutrition, but for the environment, right? And that was 2019. And after that, when it was coming out, the meat and dairy, it's the business, is what's giving them money. It's one of the biggest business out there. And they decided to launch a huge campaign, Meat Center. And this is why the carnivore diet came out, the keto diet came out, which it rotates, right? Atkins diet was 10, 15 years ago, and it always comes back. It's the lobbying, the injection of marketing, but now it's really powerful through social media, right? So trying as a normal human that's going through life, listening to all of this bombarding information online, it's really difficult.
It's confusing.
I agree. Like, if it was not because I am such a geek and I understand data and I have no time to discuss, like, I wish I was like Dr. Matthew Nagra or Akash Patel or, Simon Hill. They are so eloquent, and I love it because they can just like go on and talk about it. I am like, my brain cells are like,
you're like, I want to party. What are you talking about?
Nicely, you're an idiot, and I don't have time to waste my time to try to educate. Like, the science is really, really clear.
But give us a specific moment. You don't want to call somebody out. I want to know when you had conflict.
You are causing trouble.
Yeah, I want to know where you had conflict with a colleague where ethics came into play with your work.
I mean, as a woman navigating medicine, ethics come into play every single day. Because then another thing, women were not included in research until 1997.
That's crazy.
What do you mean?
Women were not included in research. So today we don't know anything. Wait for this. The Barbie movie was released before tampons were tested with human blood.
What?
Correct.
So what was it tested with? The blue water?
Whatever the
just
hell,
absorption. They just cared about absorption, not how it was affecting women.
I just gave you one little instance, right? But women were not included. So they assume that women are little men. and we are
little men.
And we are not. We go through 4 cycles throughout the month that regulate ourselves so differently that I really, really hope that you train your boyfriends, your husbands, your kids, the young boys, to understand that there's 4 real clear cycles that a woman goes through every single month. But then also hitting perimenopause and menopause, it's the same stages that we go as teenage years that everybody knows that are like a roller coaster of hormones. We go on the same space 10 years as it goes down. Before they thought, oh, you just have hot flashes, like one day the key just turns and you're done. Now we know crazy. Nobody studied us, and we have over 50 symptoms for perimenopause until you lose the clock of bleeding, right? But there's so much, like brain fog, there's like dizziness, heart palpitations, GI problems, loosened teeth.
What is it?
Loosened teeth. Your teeth get loose.
What?
You can actually
lose teeth.
Like they're 50 plus symptoms. So imagine if we weren't, me as a doctor that recently graduated, it's going to be 20 years. I was never taught all of this ever. Yeah. They just brushed up.
We know more about like men getting like boners and like how to like sustain their boners than we do about menopause and periods. It's crazy.
And they are funded.
I saw an ad on the train for like mint spray that you can spray on your dick that like makes it last longer. No, I'm not kidding. I just saw it the other day.
There's over 10 pills for men to get erections.
I hate them.
And the only pill for female desire was pushed back from FDA. And the woman that is behind this, everybody should go watch it, the pink pill, she had to fight nails with like so much with more data than any of the other ones that were approved for male.
Oh my
Well, the
God.
thing is like there's with that specific thing in general, it's like we're worrying about to keep up the desire, but like what's stopping the desire from the first place? And that's like your diet. You're not getting the proper nutrition to keep your insides working properly.
And sometimes we're just not into men anymore.
So 2 things there. One for males, to get an erection, you have to have really good vascularity.
Right, blood flow.
So the blood flow has to be on point.
Right.
So there's so many scientific data that male that are vegan, vegetarian, or plant-based are getting better erections, more erections, because they have better blood flow. Yes, everything is vasodilating, everything is active, and it should be, right?
Right.
And to your point, the biggest sexual organ in women is our brain.
That makes the most sense. Men are turning us off. We're
It is not like male that they just think about a bra and boom, the erection goes.
Right.
We need to be stimulated, safe first, right? Talked to nicely. Our brain is our biggest sexual organ.
Totally.
So we are two different beasts.
They don't
right. We
understand
function
that.
differently.
And that's why you're not interested in them, because they're not triggering.
stimulating that brain of yours.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Correct. And
Not all
props
of
to them.
Yes.
Because we should be talking more about sexual health. Sexual health is human health.
Yeah.
For both men and women.
We got here because of sexuality. Like, that's how we all got here.
Yep.
I wanted to bring it back to the animals. Do the animals have those cycles as well? Like the female animals? Do they go through all these hormonal changes? Like, do they have these, like, not period cramps, but like, you know what I mean? Like, are they suffering just hormonally?
In their cycles too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are mammals, right? We are in that section of the mammals. So we do know that, for example, the work that you've done about cows, right? Just let's forget about the cycles and how they feel, and think more about the pregnancy, the long pregnancy, and breastfeeding, right? I don't think until you go yourself through a pregnancy of 9 months, deliver that baby, and then milk starts coming out like a gift from God, you've never realized how incredible we are as mammals that are delivering nutrition to our little cub, our little baby, right? And to think that the day after you deliver that baby, you're going to be stripped away from them. The cries from both mom and the baby are so guttering, because I would kill if somebody would have stripped my baby away from me. So these things are very, very important. And second, because I'm throwing a lot of facts here. So there's not too many communities of animals that are matriarch. But the ones that are the ones that go through menopause.
Oh.
So cows go through menopause?
No. So where I was going. So
I'm like,
what did she say?
them too?
They're getting hot flashes.
Elephants. So the mother elephant, the matriarch elephant, or orcas too, they are the ones in whales. So they're the ones that lead the pack. They're the ones that have the knowledge. So if you see, and there's, and I'm going to butcher this one, it's orangutans and another type of monkey, a big monkey. Again, I'm not into animals, but I know the fact is that they are matriarchs. They're the ones that take over and guide the pack.
The queen bees. Yeah.
Queen bees, right? Another one, right? And we as well, we go through menopause. So who should be in charge of decision? Why? Because we become wiser. We are the one. That is what happens at the end of our fertile life as women going through midlife. We are so knowledgeable that we are there to guide our pack, to pass our stories and what we've learned about life to our circle. So that is so important to understand how much we think we're so different than animals and humans. We are another mammal in the species. We are sharing this freaking world with the rest of the animals that are here. And there's different types of animals, right? But we are a mammal animal. So we're so identical to the ones that we are hurting.
Right. And so when we talk about trying to avoid hurting them and plant-based diets, how can plant-based diets benefit women when they are going through menopause?
That's a good question.
One of the biggest ones. Also, all OBGYNs that are focused, not only OBGYNs, but functional medicine doctors, and so many doctors that are now focusing on perimenopause and menopause, a diet heavy in fiber is what they all recommend. A lot of protein, a lot of fiber. And ladies, we have to start lifting heavy weight.
I hear that.
Why? Because fiber.
Our vaginas. I'm just kidding.
That too.
the muscles.
Oh, shit.
The muscles, but the muscles, the lifting heavy weight is more to protect
The bones?
the bones.
Yeah.
Because the bones get protected with the muscle that's around.
Right.
And if you fracture your bones, in 1 year, your mortality rates go really, really high. So we don't want that. When we get to 80, 90, we have to start thinking at this point. I know you're in your 20s and 30s.
No, I'm thinking about it.
If you build that consistency now, when you get to your 35 and over,
Right.
because perimenopause can start in 35.
My mom thinks I'm starting premenopause because I've been hot as at my place. Like in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hot. And like my heart palpitations. I've been talking to my mom. She's like, Justina, I think you are starting. You are in premenopausal.
You're not wrong.
I'm 35. I just turned 35.
What
Sorry.
So what did I just say? Women don't know that they can start perimenopause at 35.
So I've heard.
It can take, and this is like, when did your mom go to menopause, which is the day, 1 year from the day you saw the last time blood. That is when you're menopause. And from that point on, you'll always be postmenopausal. But perimenopause can last 10 years.
Can you get pregnant in that phase?
You can get pregnant. You can be pregnant, you can be fertile, and you can be in perimenopause. And this is this roller coaster that you're going through. Mm-hmm. And we never study women. But now we're understanding women are taking charge of this period.
Yeah.
And it's the most fantastic. Eat more fiber. Okay. Where is fiber?
Plants.
Fruit. Only in plants you can find fiber. And don't eat fiber as like the supplement of the fiber.
No. Directly.
Okay, if you need extra, okay. But you gotta chew it.
Yes. You said a diet high in protein, and can you talk a little bit about that, how that correlates to plant-based eating?
Oh, yes. So the cleaner the protein, the better for women.
Okay. What does that mean?
So soy.
Okay.
Soy is one of the most amazing plants there exist because the amount of protein that it has, fiber that it has, and there's a lot of research done to women and men because it's also prostate cancer protective. And for women, breast cancer protective, ovary protective.
So what do you have to say? Because that's like a big pushback with my father. He pisses me off. He's like, oh, that's so bad for you. No, I'm not eating that tofu. Like, what do you have to say about that? Because it's such a freaking excuse, especially that men use.
They say it's high in estrogen.
Yeah.
Okay, great question. And one, it's marketing, right? The bros have taken over the soy boys, but it's just this marketing idea. But again, science wins, data wins, and there's a type of, it's called phytoestrogen. Phyto meaning plant, estrogen. And there's 2 receptors in our bodies that take estrogen. There's receptor A and B.
Okay.
Soy or plant-based estrogen, phytoestrogens, they bind into the different receptor that the estrogen does. When people hear estrogen, you're like, oh, estrogen is estrogen. Not all estrogen. Second, going into that receptor makes it protective to different types of cancer, either is male or female. Lots of data. So again, to your dad, it's just presenting the data. Say, this is all of the individuals, hundreds of thousands of actual humans that have seen that it's positive for them to to eat soy.
Just so you know. Just so you know.
And second, if you are worried about hormones, there are actual hormones in the milk and cheese that you're eating, because that's his actual mammalian hormone that will go to the receptors that actually cause cancer. So one of the most dangerous chemicals is in milk or cheese that produces prostate cancer. Fully linked to prostate cancer is in dairy. So you want it. It's just, the data is very clear.
Right. I feel like that just doesn't get translated to people. Like today I'm going to be screaming about tofu because that's so sad that men are so brainwashed against that, when it could actually be saving their lives and like bringing their health up.
My grandpa has prostate cancer, and it's almost as if like you have this murderer or this serial killer that's lurking around, but it's hidden behind milk and cheese
and yogurt and ice cream.
Yeah, and I'm like, this serial killer, this is what's killing you.
Literal serial killer. Yeah. It's in your cereal.
It's like an abusive relationship. Like they're still addicted to it, yet it's causing them all these problems.
Yeah, and the rates of prostate cancer are extremely high. Extremely high, and this is why. There's no other chemical that is more demonstrated that it has that linkage. And why is it so addictive? Is because there is something in the dairy that makes your brain think that it's so good. So there is serotonin, dopamine, endorphins being secreted every time you eat. That's why you're like, I want some cheese, I need some pizza, I need some ice cream. Right. It is addictive because your neurons are getting a release of neurotransmitters that are like making you so happy. It's addictive. Yeah.
I want to take it back to what you were saying about our cycles as women, and like, what should we know about the different periods throughout the month? And how we should be, what activities we should be participating in, maybe how we should be eating. Like, I know I get super hungry before my period, and I'm like, I want to eat. And I have more heavy, I guess, like plant-based foods, like more, I guess, processed. Like, I'll have like a vegan bacon, egg, and cheese, or like a vegan chocolate cake, and that, like, I crave before my period.
I should know all this. I have it in my notes. I was like, vegan, like menstrual cycle, like eating activity thing. I have it on my notes and I don't even look at it. But please.
But I think that is super important.
It is.
Making sure that you have your calendar synced to two things. And there's like really, really nice data on what you should be eating more. First, follow your intuition, because it's not crazy that those are the things you want, right? And two, your activity level changes throughout those 4 cycles. So when you're ovulating, when you're just after your period, first your period, that's cycle 1, right? So that is when you're like in the couch, in bed, you're just going through it, and it's really bad. So much that Spain just recognized that women can be off work for the days of your period.
That should be a thing. I mean, hello.
Thank you, Spain.
I agree.
For understanding and recognizing that those 5 to 7 days are so hard on us. We're supposed to just like zip it up and pretend like everything is normal.
Right. Go hide in the bathroom and be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
The cramps can be really bad. I have noticed that I manage the cramps better though, like after
with
going
the vegan diet. Yeah, same. I don't even have cramps anymore because I've gone vegan. I had a teacher tell me to go vegan because I didn't go to school because I had my period, and she told me vegan, and the word didn't print in my brain. I didn't even know what vegan was, but she was like, you can't just not show up to work, especially as an artist. Like, no one's going to replace you. And she brought up a vegan diet to help soften that. But go through the phases.
A plant-centered diet is going to be healthier because you're going to diminish the amount of inflammation in your whole body, and that will definitely impact. Not to say that there is other conditions that can be impacted, like endometriosis, that even when you are heavy on plant-based, those are actual physical, you need a surgery to remove those lesions out, right?
Yeah.
So a lot can be done with nutrition that can help you advance in so many conditions.
Right.
Just because it's dependent to either it's too inflammatory, it's pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory, right? If you are feeding your microbiomes fiber, that's all they eat. And your microbiomes, there's gazillions of them. We have more microbiome, all of these little guys inside, than actual cells in our body.
What?
We are more made out of microbiomes than anything than our actual cells. So we should be focusing on feeding them so they can thrive. What do? They do hormones. They do so many neurotransmitter. They do so much for us. Like our well-being depends on our microbiota.
What's scary about that is antibiotics and antibiotic resistance because of animal products.
Yes. Yeah. When you do need an antibiotic and something happened to you, there is the biggest resistance because we are just feeding them like if it was candy to all animals in animal agriculture. Because why? They have them crammed down. They're pooping. They're eating on top of poop. They have a cut and now it's infected, and that's why they're giving them like it's popcorn, it's candy, and it is affecting, and it'll affect us in the future for sure. Already is affecting us because of antibiotic resistance.
People don't think about that, the resistance with all of that.
I don't think nobody's like actually putting two and two together,
They're
or the lobbying, the amount of money that they're making is trumping that, and then we get affected at the end of the day,
Right.
and nobody cares about that last piece, right? It's like, well.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I care about money.
So how can you then help the microbiome in your body if we're made up of so many of them? How do we keep them from being unique and like having a bunch of different types of microbiome?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. It is all about fiber. They only eat fiber.
Wow,
so
you're like, I haven't heard fiber so much since I was like a very young kid on TV until today. Fiber.
Yeah, it's a superpower. So the cool thing about fiber is that us, when we chew, it's like, I don't know if you press the juice and you have the juice, the water on one side and then the pulp on the other side. That is fiber, the pulp, right? We thought, the pulp, maybe it helps move the poop around so you can poop. But now we know that pulp is what actually feeds your microbiome. And the more diverse fiber is, the more diverse your microbiota is. And the more diverse, or it picks which one is going to grow more. Do you want the good guys or the bad guys?
Right.
The anti-inflammatory or the pro-inflammatory? If you don't give your body fiber, the more inflammatory microbiota will grow. If you start giving it fiber, plants, food, like all the fruits, veggies, seeds, nuts, it will grow the anti-inflammatory. So it'll be protective. And they like different things. They like different colors. Are you eating the rainbow every single day? How many colors did you eat, Justina?
You guys, I was just going to say, like, I feel horrible because I'm vegan, I'm obviously, and I'm like, I'm doing a disservice to my specific body because, girls, you cannot have 2 lattes for breakfast and lunch and think that you're good, because I have not eaten any color of the rainbow so far.
Brown liquid.
I had poop. I had shit. That's the coffee. That's the color. I had brown.
Which is, coffee is good. It's okay, right?
Sure.
But
She's being nice.
If you start counting how many colors did you have, it's still midday, girl.
Yeah,
don't be burning yourself.
I get all the colors at night. Last night I had like cabbage, I had cilantro, chickpeas, radish, and pineapple, like made it with chia seeds. Like I can make up for it, but especially people who that are not plant-based and they're running on coffee predominantly during their day and then don't even eat plants.
Right.
We are at war, man. Like the fact that people even say that some plants, like, oh my God, stay away from the broccoli because it releases chemicals that when they get eaten, they're scared, and seriously, like all of the meat dairy and egg industries are so brilliant at like hiring these influencers to spread misinformation to the point where people think it's dangerous to eat plants.
Yep.
Meanwhile, like you're saying that plants are the only place we could get fiber.
Period.
And these people are not getting any fiber.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that note, because I thought you were going to go there, how when people are like, oh, I can't eat fruit, it's going to interfere with my medication. And I'm like, bitch, you need to be off of that medication.
Or they feel bloated when they eat fruit.
Do they?
Or they feel bloated if they eat a lot of fiber because their microbiome is not used to it.
Yeah,
I took my
the
brother
transition.
to a vegan restaurant a few months ago, and he left that restaurant. He was so gassy. And he was like telling me about it. I'm like, ew, get away from me.
You're like, give yourself some time to let your body adapt.
I mean, that is a great question or subject. Is you gotta, when you have not had any,
Right.
you gotta start introducing little by little.
Okay.
Right.
Because taking your brother to have 40 different plants in one serving, yeah, that's what it does. Like
That's so true.
the amount of bacteria, protozoas, and virus that are there, which is the microbiota, are like,
They're
what
dying.
is
They're like,
this? Like,
Try
what,
sitting in a
what
car
just-
with him for an hour
what
after.
just
Done.
what just happened? I'm going to not understand, start processing. So the introduction to plants has to be slow, but you keep increasing, right? There's a great book, Fiber Fueled. Check it out.
Fiber fueled. Okay.
Dr. Gastroenterologist. And, the trick is to try to get to 30 different plants throughout the week.
Okay.
So start tracking how many.
Okay.
I like to say, count the colors of the rainbow that you've eaten, because that, like, you're like, oh, did I have orange
Blue?
today? Did
Yeah.
I have, purple? Did
Right.
I eat that
I
today?
always get purple. Orange is a whole other beast. I'm like, orange.
Carrot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
Calm down.
Yellows.
Yellows, I mean, stupid corn.
Pink?
What else is yellow?
Is there pink? Strawberry.
Pepper.
Peppers.
Yellow peppers. Yeah. Yellow zucchinis.
What's blue?
Zucchini. That's
So-
a good one.
so,
Blueberries.
A little trick to incorporate this week for everybody that's listening is just go to the grocery store and pick things that you have never picked. Have you eaten a radish?
Yes.
Lately?
Oh, I don't like radishes.
I love radishes. I like a little spice in some of my vegetables, a little zest.
Just name an eggplant.
Yeah.
Just grab one thing
Right.
that you have not added into your grocery list, because you're always just, your grocery list says lettuce, tomato, cucumber, that's it.
Right.
So-
Explore the horizon.
Yeah.
Dying.
There's so many other colors that are going to just make you healthier.
I know, it blows my mind when people are like, oh, I've never had that. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
When I went vegan, I tried a lot more things. Like I feel like I used to just eat
love
chicken
it.
nuggets and like spaghetti.
Really? See, I
And
was
then-
always an explorative, like,
Oh.
foodie. I used to love exotic fruits and vegetables. I used to be like, what the heck is that?
Now I'm like, yeah, give me all the exotic fruits. So I think, I'm really curious what your perspective is on the future of science for women and for animals.
Yeah.
Where do you see things going?
I am so excited that this week marked, I would say, the before and the after for me. I am going to join forces with another female physician, that we're going to push science led by women and for women into another level, and centering also in stem cells and this new venture of what now finally Congress has approved, that FDA has to move away from animal testing into organoids or to these different cell chips that are specific for things. And so we're bringing innovation into another level. And I think that the future for women and women in science and animals is brighter. I like to focus on the bright side, because there's a lot of bad things happening. But if we are not pushing the agenda on the good things, we're never going to see it. So I like to do manifestation like that. I am solving something today where I am. In what industry you are, we all can move the needle forward, and then it will be moved.
It's true. I mean, you're saying that law just passed. That was like a few months ago. So it's like, wow, the future does look bright, because if we could just get rid of animal testing alone, that's so many animals that are being saved. And you still get to do what you need to do to further progress human health and research,
Yeah,
We should be using
and
technology.
correctly, right? Because we understand now that the data that we get from animal testing
is poop.
is not good.
Right.
I mean, it does not translate.
Right.
Yeah, okay, you have the data and what? And you publish your study. Okay, what? But when you brought it to humans, we're so much more different, diverse. Our biology, our physiology just works very differently. And so I think that the future of science will continue to evolve. There's a lot with AI that's being done, and I really think that there is a bright future out there for solutions.
It's like follow the money too, because part of the problem is that you have these scientists that apply for grants to test on the animals, and then they get millions of dollars to do this, and then they do it, and whether they actually conclude anything from it or not, they still got the money for it. So the question then is, can scientists apply for grants now that this new law has been passed that doesn't require animal testing? Can they apply for these big grants to conduct experiments? Maybe it's in human trials, maybe it's in computer models, petri dishes. Can they get that money to do those experiments?
So I think that that's part of the law that's requiring, right? That we move away from this old school animal testing into more like the innovative ways to test. Yes. And I don't think scientists are the ones that are just they want to test in animals.
Are you sure?
It's not that's not how it works. It usually it's the industry that they are,
right?
The projects that they want to present. And coming from a very small biotech company, I can tell you we apply for so many grants to try to get so money out there, but we were such a small company, they didn't even pay attention to us. They only pay attention to like the bigger, like if you're part of a university or you're part of a big hospital, those are the grants that are going to be funded. But who is thinking about that? So it's not the scientists that are doing.
Yeah, but they're applying for grants to prove shampoo's still shampoo. They're applying for grants to literally just prove to the public that babies, when separated from their mothers, these monkeys, that they are scared. It's
like no shit, we didn't have to do that. Yeah.
And
then they have millions of dollars.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
For this study that we already know the answer to.
So somebody that is a big company wants to have those studies funded, right?
Baby monkeys, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, and then also the beagles that were rescued yesterday, right? Recently. It's just when you see those videos, I don't know if you've seen, but we all have dogs, right? We all see into our dog's eyes. And when you see those videos of the moment that they're rescued, the beagles are just like,
innocent.
It's just like, they're just looking like, what is happening? And why do they test on beagles? It's because they are so passive.
Yeah.
So they're not an aggressive dog. But then you see the most innocent dogs being taken advantage. They are just breeding them to go through testing, cosmetic testing, and also medical testing. For what? Just think about your dogs and your cats at home. It's like we do know how much personality they have, how they feel. They're scared. They're happy. They're curious. They have all of these traits that we have, and now they have them crammed in these little cages, no light looking. And when they're being rescued, I really want you to go look into those videos and look at their eyes. Like, why do they have to go through that?
Yeah, Wayne Chung's investigation at the Ridgeland Farms is what Mari's talking about for people listening. And those rescue videos, it's hard to watch, but it then kind of begs the question, okay, like, are these dogs any different than the animals that end up on our plates? And also, farmed animals, it's like this gateway into caring about all others. And so after this episode today, it's like people listening can now know, okay, we can be super healthy on a plant-based diet. We don't need to test on animals to further science. We also can, as women, benefit from eating plants, and these animal products can be quite destructive to our bodies.
Yeah, extremely destructive. I'm like wanting to get all the tea from you. I'm like, yeah, great. But I'm like, I know it's tricky for you because this is your field. And it's tricky for me in my field too, where I'm like, what can I say without being like completely silenced and losing all sorts of power or opportunity. But like when you see that for instance, that specific testing lab getting raided, all these animals getting rescued, have you thought about conducting your own or private, not to call you out because then you're like, I was, but now that you said this, to rescue those animals that are being tested, like those mice? Like, do you ever think about, you know what, I'm going to drop the key over to Cynthia so we can get
like,
this
give
group
us
of
the
people
key. We just
to
won't say
break
anything.
in? Yeah. Do you ever find yourself in that position where you're like, dang, I know all these animals are in there. What can I do to save them?
I mean, depending on the
mice.
Well, mice are being tested all over the world, right? Another thing that I learned also, not to
you keep on dodging me. You keep on dodging my questions, Mari. You're pissing me off.
But I recently learned that even when right now the law passed not to test on animals, federal money, like our tax money, is being used overseas. That there's no regulations. They're using our money for animal testing with our tax money. So get a little more pissed, I would say, right?
I knew they were doing it here, but I didn't know they were doing it overseas.
Because here we have at least regulations where we know that we are damaging the animal's psyche a little bit, right? Like there's some rules.
Lot of it, yeah.
But when it's overseas, there's zero regulations. But we are paying for it.
That's crazy.
That recently came out. God. And it's like, when I learned about it, I was like, whoa, okay. So we are actually funding for animal testing outside of the U.S. because we don't want to do it in the U.S.
But what we do in the U.S., there's regulations, but the regulations are bullshit.
Yeah,
like the regulations are like, oh, we can only drown them for an hour.
Regulations, schmegulations. Right. I don't want any animal testing. And what people can do is to make sure that leaping bunny or that cruelty-free vegan logo is on any product you buy. I think where it becomes tricky is medicine.
Yes.
And like even I had stitches and I had on my neck, I had like a tumor actually a few years ago, and I had to go through surgery. And I said to the doctor, I was like, please do not use stitches that are from an animal. Please. And he was like,
from an animal?
They are. The stitches are from some type of intestine, I think.
Shut the fuck up.
They use gut to do it.
Shit.
But you can get the other ones, right?
I think he did. He figured something else out.
And the same
exist. Like what the?
We use a lot. There's a lot in medicine that uses animal parts to. Yeah,
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. Even the stitches. That's crazy.
And other life-saving treatments, like somebody needs a heart valve transplant, they're getting that from pigs.
Pigs, yeah.
I knew that, and like I don't know why that doesn't disturb people. Like I get it. Like you love this person, but it's just kind of like. How does that not affect the human that need the heart?
You love this person, but
the pigs like matters too.
But also like your body now has pig parts inside of you. How does that not scientifically affect a human's body? Like when there's a foreign object, our body sometimes rejects it.
Yeah, yes, but it comes to a point where like we kind of desensitize the area. Not to be a pig. Pig and humans, we're very, very much alike.
Right.
It's one of the organs or like the animals that are extremely, extremely alike to humans. So the rejection is not too big. And, a bulb replacement will give you 20, 30 years on
a balls replacement,
which is disgusting. That like when you eat them, it literally smells like human skin burning. If you were to eat a human, it would probably taste pretty similar.
And pigs are like in religion. Pigs are one of the like they say don't eat this and that specifically because and before they didn't have the science to know how similar it was. But I've always thought like. They had to know something.
Yeah,
that pig is one of the ones that was like, oh my god, no, in a lot of religions.
Did you want to touch on Justina's last question to you, which was about
what would I do?
What would you do in that situation? We were talking about the Beagle raids and then the elaborates, and then we do have to wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Again, I did not participate more than in one trial, me personally, but. I'm there for every march. I'm there for trying to educate myself also. Like I've tried to identify where my hypocrisy comes. Like why I'm a human that I am not a perfect vegan, right? I try my best every day. But if I would know where the animals are, if I have access to the key, will I be giving it to you both? Yes, with me. Yes, let's go. We ride at dawn.
Yeah. Right. It's tricky.
It is tricky.
I mean, I commend you for sticking it through and knowing all the positive change you can contribute to, while also having to like know that the other things are happening that you are completely against. But we need you in that space to fight for the animals and try to make changes as much as possible.
Yeah, and thank you for inspiring women. It's just amazing what you're doing, and you're pushing the needle, you're furthering science, and sometimes it requires us to step into, it always requires us to step into fields where we need to make change in. So by putting yourself in there, that's where you can really have the impact. So thank you so much for coming on the show today and answering all of our pressing questions.
We have so many more. We have so many more, but that'll be for another time.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, thank you for having me. Thank you for everybody that actually had the time to listen to all of this.
Where can people find you?
On my website, dr.mari.com. All of my socials are there. I'm active in social media, so you'll find me on Instagram and LinkedIn for my doctors that want to connect to. And I'm always there to try to guide people, right? So do slide through my DMs if you have questions about everything that we've talked about today.
Wonderful. And you guys know where to find us. We're at JSYK Podcast. I'm at It's Jamie's Corner.
You can find me at Justina.
Please like, rate, and subscribe to the episode. We want to hear your thoughts on what we talked about today.
Yeah, please comment if you have any questions. We'll definitely jump into the comment section and touch base on anything that we might have left out or maybe left with an open question mark. And share, tag us, because these are important topics and we obviously can't get to every single one of them. So we want to know what your thoughts are.
And you guys know the drill.
Yeah,
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.